This segment is being brought to you by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, welcome back, everyone, and thank you, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. We've done real well, I think, in bringing back a deer herd that, let's see, was it 1956 or 59 when they started deer season again here in Tennessee.
We've got a lot of deer this year. I've noticed everywhere.
And a lot of twins and triplets being born. I'm telling you, they're everywhere. So great job to Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, regardless of whether you believe it or not, we probably have the best wildlife agency in the nation right here in Tennessee. I know you might not agree with everything, but the overall picture, I got to tell you, Tennessee's way on up there as far as sportsman's paradise. It shouldn't be Louisiana. It should be Tennessee. That's right. So great job, and we appreciate him very much. Bobby Cothran's on here tonight talking to us about bow hunting and getting your bow set up. And we're so glad to have him on here. He is a great archery guy, great bow hunter. He kills some big ones every year. I have filmed him killing some big ones every year.
Except when the camera freezes up.
Yeah, until the camera froze up on us one time. But just you know, he's got a wealth of knowledge. This is what he does. This is what he likes to do. So he's studied it really well. This brings the opportunity back to you, Bobby. You know, we used to hear build the bow around your arrow.
Yeah, it's not the case.
It's not the case anymore, is it?
There's so many good arrows out there built right now. You know, Go Tip I shoot for, you do too.
Yep, I do too.
They make one of the best carbon, the strongest arrow on the market, and of course they got different spines. Oh yeah. But you know, just about every arrow they make, you can just about shoot out of any bow, especially with 50 pounds and up. So,
do you still recommend though going to an archery pro and asking them what should I be shooting?
You should, because you could underspine an arrow, make it shoot bad, or overspine. But the only really suggestion, like our shooting up in Franklin, you know, Jeremy's a great friend of ours. Right. Go in there and get sized so that bow will fit you. That's the key. I mean, that's your, you know, I do things different in tournament season. I get into a hunting season, I want to, of course I got bow presses, so I shorten my draw length so I don't catch my jacket. You know, I make a little shorter draw length so I'm not stretched out and it catches, you know, any type of clothing. That's another little trick.
Quarter inch can mean a big difference.
Quarter inch is all I shorten it, you know. That's it. You might lose, you know, you might lose 6 foot a second, but it's, you know, the deer's not going to know that. You know?
They're not going to know it.
No, absolutely not. But there's all kinds of little bitty scenario things that people just need to just stop and look at. But getting sized properly for a bow is one of the most important things, especially draw. And you're talking about draw lengths and everything. Absolutely. We've got people that are shooting, you know, 23, 24-inch draw lengths all the way up to. You and I know some big boys shooting some 32s. Oh, absolutely. And, you know, well, there again, you know, it's just like a belt. It's like a pant size. You know, everybody thinks you shoot a 26-inch, 27, 28. I shoot a 30 1/4. That's down what I do. 1/4. You know, so there's so many different fluctuations where you can make the adjustments on your cables to fit you properly, and that's such a key to shooting archery. I still say an archery pro shop, if you can go to them. They can help you. They can guide you and get you through some of these. You'll shoot so much better with the bows that fit you and the right arrows that match up. That's right. You know, the spine. You know, that's so important. Broadheads. I got to talk broadheads before this show. Okay. I mean, you used to use, and I don't know if you still do anymore. You used to use a lot of mechanicals. I did. And you and I would. I mean, we're best buds, but. You know, I always shot the fixed because I just believed in the fixed, and you shot the mechanicals. But my deer didn't run there as far as yours, though. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Just kidding. I still loaded it in the truck. I'm using fixed this year because one of my sponsors, you know, I'm shooting a fixed broadhead, which it's a great broadhead. But there again, you can battle all day long with, you know, fixed or mechanical. Everybody's making a great broadhead. It's just what you're comfortable with and what's more accurate to your style of shooting, you know. That's the most important. And it does matter about your shooting and one that corkscrews or porpoising or whatever. Yeah. If you can stop that, and ladies and gentlemen, you've got to play around with some of these broadheads. Oh, absolutely. You know, no broadhead. You know, and a lot of guys will tell y'all, and everybody's heard this, that, you know, our broadheads hit right behind the field point. I've never found one.
I've never found one.
You know, now they'll group different, but you might have to move your sight picture a little bit. I always buy, of course, I get 3 or 4 extra ones a year free, but I set them up in practice with. Those are my practice arrows.
Right.
And that's what I shoot. That way, when it comes to real deal time, I just pull out a new arrow, and that's what I hunt with.
And that's what I hunt
and
with.
it hits right behind the pin every time.
Do you match your head to the game? I mean, is a 100-grain broadhead good enough for just about
depends,
everything in Tennessee?
Well, it'll kill 75 grain. I hunted for 3 years with a 75 grain, and I was very successful with them. There again, that affects how much poundage you want to pull. If you want to back your poundage down, shoot a lighter broadhead, shoot a lighter spine there, and you still get the job done. You don't have to pull 70 and 80 pounds nowhere. It's just
a lot of ladies, Bobby, are coming into the sport. A lot of ladies are getting, because you got Candy and all of those ladies coming in, and they're got their own shows, and so there's a lot of ladies coming into it. They can back down their poundage. They don't have to hold the 60 pounds.
Absolutely right.
They can use 75 grain broadheads and still walk out more successful than us big old loggerheads here.
If you'll notice, though, when you see these ladies hunt, which they do a great job, my hat's off to them, that they've done their homework, and it's all about shot placement.
That's right.
That's what we've been talking about, shot placement. That's what it's about. You have to make a good shot.
You can have a perfect setup, Bobby, and make a bad shot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've done that once in my life.
You've got to practice, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something. You and I agree, you have to practice with what you're hunting with.
You have to.
I mean, if you're going to be dressed in camouflage, then practice with camouflage. If you're going to wear a head net, practice with a head net.
Everything that you wear, if you wear, it depends on what the season, the weather conditions, if it's stormy outside, if it's cold. There's a lot of things that's, bulky on you, and you have to learn to draw with that on there. So you have to practice exactly what your hunting, your conditions are. You're correct.
All right, we have a caller. Let's see, who's this? Scott. Scott, how can we help you tonight?
Hello, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's been a while since I spoke with you.
Yes, sir, it has.
Yeah. My question tonight is, I bought a bow 9 years ago. I put it down 3 years ago, and just strictly muzzle loading.
Right.
And I need to take my bow, take it in, get it relined, because I'm sure I tried beeswax last time I used it, and I've noticed it's starting to fray.
Yep.
And I'll go over here to that Murfreesboro Outdoors, and I'm going to let them reline it. And I got a 65-pound pull. I'm going to try it again this year. Do I need to lower that?
Bobby?
You can. I mean, it depends on what comfortable weight you are, but if you've got a 65-pound bow, I don't know if you've got 60 to 70 or 55 to 65. There's only so much poundage you can take out of a bow. So if you got a 60-pound limbs, it'll go down to about 50. 70 will go down to about 62. So you don't want to take out too much poundage. But you want to take it, they should have the manufacturer specifications there for sure.
And Murfreesboro Outdoors is a great place. Randy Bowling and all those guys are awesome. And they will help you. But you can, Scott, lower your poundage probably a little bit. You can go to a lighter era. And gain your speed back.
Absolutely.
What you took off, you can gain back. So there's several things you can do, Scott.
Also, when you wax your bowstring, if you'll put your wax, on your string, and just take an old piece of I cut a tongue off an old boot.
Yeah.
Just take a piece of leather and you can burn it in with that leather. And it'll make your string.
It'll save your fingers.
It will. It'll make your string and cable look brand new because you're burning the wax inside the thread. And that's a good tip just to use for them.
And plus, if you're gonna put one up, Scott, it's always good to lessen the poundage if you're gonna do that.
Back off
of
turns.
it.
Yes.
And what happens? It used to, back when we shot, when Moby Dick was a minute, it would warp some of the limbs on them. It used to.
And another no-no, a lot of guys like a lot of bow cases. Just don't put that bow in there with broadheads and arrows. You just separate them with a tube, take your quiver off, 'cause you might make it nick your string out in the field and blow your bow up.
It'll make a bad day.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we hope that helps you, Scott.
Well, one more question.
Okay.
Do I need to change my arrows?
Are you shooting aluminum or are you shooting carbons?
I've got both.
Your arrows there shouldn't be any problems with the arrows.
No.
I'd roll with them, but I'd get my bow checked out. Probably it's time to go ahead and put a new set of strings and cables on it.
I would too.
Yeah.
I'd consider putting new strings and cables on it.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a great evening, and thanks for the information.
You're quite welcome. We appreciate you, and just that's always good. And a lot of people did do that. A lot of people still do that. They get into archery, something happens, they get a rotator cuff, they gotta have a little surgery. Doc says you can't do it.
That's why a lot of guys went to crossbows.
Yeah.
Because, of course.
Well, I want to be out there.
Yeah, exactly. It puts you in the woods.
Yeah,
that's
it puts you in the woods.
It gives you that handicapped person a way to still get out in the woods and hunt.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you and I are diehards. We're traditionalists in the fact that I like a compound. Now I know I'm probably going to get a lot of slack for this, but we shot longbows and recurves back, and then we moved up to compounds. It's not that we're taking away from it, because a lot of animals are taken with longbows and recurves. But I think you got to do a lot more practice.
Oh, you do.
Than what a compound. Most people go with compounds because they could take it out in June and prepare for the season that comes up in September, whereas a longbow and recurve, you better pick it up September 1 and go all the way the next year.
Exactly right.
It's just part of the nature of the beast. And but every one of them are lethal weapons. It is legal to use them.
Correct.
Tennessee, it's illegal to use a crossbow. You do not have to have a handicap permit anymore to use a crossbow. They want more people out in the woods, and so do we. We need more people out there as advocates of hunting.
Correct.
So whatever it takes to get you out there, get out there. Bobby and I will be supporting you 100%.
Absolutely.
But Bobby, is there anything you would like to, because the one thing that I don't think we've talked about is the air arrest, and my goodness, that is one of the major deals.
I'll show you this. I want to give out to Mike Eisenbrom that loves your show.
Oh, thank you.
And one of my best friends that I hunt with, Chris Dunn. I know he's watching. This is a drop away, Hugh.
Yep.
A lot of people use a blade, they use a pronghorn, but the drop away rest, if you want to show.
Yeah, let's.
This is a field point, so it's
I'm
not
gonna
dangerous.
jerk it out of his hand again.
Of course, the drop away, like I said, I just set this bow up earlier, and I'll tie this into my cable, and just to load it, you just leave it up, and once your arrow's on, I'm gonna get you in the face there. It's just
that's all right. It's pointing at Marty over there.
We'll get that chicken yet.
Yeah, we're gonna get that chicken, Marty.
But I had to tie my loop on, but that's how it sets, So your arrow's already set, and I'll put some felt in here where it won't make any noise at all once up in the tree.
No rattling.
So once you draw back and make your shot, the arrow will leave as this rest will drop down. The rest will drop, and that arrow will stay in flight.
Yeah, it just keeps
free
going.
Floats just like that right there.
Coming to you, Marty.
And that's one of the best rests. That's made by Matthews as well. That's just the best all around rest to have is hunting. You don't have to worry about your arrow falling off and jumping off your bow.
Sounds great. Well, Bobby, thank you so much, and I know we hit it pretty fast, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to. We only have an hour here, and we could go on for days.
No, it takes
Bobby, you and I could talk for days on this.
Absolutely.
So, hey, we got to take and do our tip of the week, and boy, has Bobby got one for you. So this week's tip of the week is being brought to you by Davidson County Farmers Co-op over there, Scott Cooper and those fine folks over there that he's got on that counter on Dickerson Road. And by the way, October 1st is Customer Appreciation Day at your Davidson County Farmers Co-op. Come join us. We will be there. We'll be handing out all kinds of things and talking to people about the hunting seasons and everything. That is October 1st over at your Davidson County Co-op off of Dickerson Road. All right, Bobby, what's a good tip?
Everybody that shoots, in their backyard, I recommend strongly, once you get your bow set up and you think you've got it sighted in, I always do a vertical, horizontal line. So I'll shoot it, 20, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll shoot out to 50 yards, but a 20 to 40 is great. But if you'll do a horizontal line and just shoot across this line, you'll see where your
Anywhere
arrows,
on that line.
you just aim good shots at the line. If your arrows start breaking above and hitting above, you have to drop your rest down. Don't move your sight. Just move your rest down. Same way with vertical. You might shoot at 20 and hit, dead center of the line and back out to 30 or 40 and start shooting a little right. That's where your arrows are grouped. Then you want to take your rest and move it just a touch left until you start hitting dead in your vertical, up and down and straight across as well. And that just fine tunes with a lot of guys that get out and shoot. And you'll probably notice, and I think everybody that shoots archery you'll get at 20 yards and shoot a great group, and you'll get out to 40 and you'll be about an inch to the right. And you're
That's
like, well,
right.
what's going on? Then you make that increment adjustment, and then you shoot back left. This takes out everything 100% guaranteed.
One other note before he leaves. When you shoot horizontal and vertical, you'll be hitting dead center from there on.
Absolutely, in both lines.
And it's amazing that people don't realize that, but it's a great tip. Thank you so much, Bobby. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we've got a recipe over here. Marty Rule is in the house. He's got the Dizzy Bird over there, so come on back for more of Southern Woods and Waters.